Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about Mars as it transits into the sign of Taurus. Mars is going to be in Taurus for an extended amount of time. So I wanted to explain exactly when it's going to be in Taurus and what the results are going to be all about. So before I do so, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter where you can get all of my predictions delivered to your email address every week. So go to galacticcenter.org, and while you're there, check out my new magazine, all online magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights. From my website, you can subscribe to my magazine and you won't want to miss the August issue. It's amazing. So go to galacticcenter.org. Now let's talk about Mars. Now, how long is it going to be in Taurus and when? First, it's going to arrive into Taurus August 10th. But then after it getting into the sign of Taurus, it will transit into Gemini, and this will be October 16th. But don't forget, Mars is going to go retrograde October 30th. So it's going to be pretty much hovering about 1 degree of Gemini for a short period of time till it retrogrades back into the sign of Taurus. So let me give you these dates again. Mars will be in Taurus August 10th through October 16th. And then from October 16th to November 13th, it will have a very short track in the sign of Gemini before it goes back into Taurus November 13th, and it will be there all the way till March 12th. That is a long time for Mars to be in a sign. And let me give you some very interesting information about Mars being in the sign of Taurus. Well, Mars doesn't particularly like the sign Taurus. Why? Because it's not friendly. Mars and the planet that rules Taurus, being Venus, are not necessarily friendly to each other. And they're quite different. So Mars is not that comfortable being in the sign of Taurus, number one. But number two, what is Taurus generally going to produce? Instances around wealth and money. And what I find so interesting is when I researched the last time Mars did go back into Taurus, this would have been in the years of the early 90s, 1990 to 1991, and the year of 2008. Those were other times that Mars was transiting through the same sector of the zodiac while it was retrograde. And that says a lot. If any of you can remember, I remember 2008 quite well. That was a very difficult time in the economy. The stock market crashed, everything went down. It was tough. 2008, not a good memory. Then if you go back to the early 1990-91, another time of a recession. So Mars in Taurus doesn't suit too well for the economy. So we're going to be seeing some very difficult things. And I think it's because of all the other things that are happening simultaneously with the eclipse in October, with Mars retrograde stationing where it is. The degree points are very volatile. So this is going to have major repercussions and backups and hiccups for the economy. Trust me, this is going to be part of it. And another thing is, I noticed that when Mars is in Taurus, it's going to be, for the most part, transiting over the Pleiades. And the Pleiades is a very difficult portion of the zodiac, and partially within this area of the zodiac, you're going to find that Aldebaran, which sits around 15 degrees of Taurus, is also the degree marking where Mars is going to station to turn direct. And Mars will station to turn direct. Well, Mars is going to be retrograde, by the way, October 30th till March 12th. So even though it's not the whole time in Taurus during that time, it is retrograde. So you see, even though a planet's retrograde, what I'm really talking about is the sign it's going to be in, but it's actually going to be transiting retrograde October 30th through March 12th. And on October 30th, Mars is going to station at 1 degree of Gemini. And that is a very volatile position for the United States. I'm not sure about other countries because I don't have their birth charts, but for the United States, the natal Mars sits at 0 degrees of Gemini. So Mars is activating the chart of the US. Plus, I have mentioned in other videos, it's activating Kamala Harris's chart. Her ascendant and her Rahu sit at 1 degree of Gemini. So this whole Mars retrograde is bringing forth major events in the United States. That's what I can definitely say about Mars retrograde. But at the other point where it turns direct, remember when Mars changes directions, meaning it's going forward and then it stops to turn retrograde, that's the October 30th date. So it will be at 1 degree of Gemini. But as it's trekking along backwards and it slows down to turn direct, it's going to be on March 12th, and it will be around 15 degrees of Taurus, which is the star of Aldebaran, which is the red one. It's the eye of the bull. It's a red star. And that star is actually where the nakshatra Rohini is. And Rohini is called the red one. Why? Because of the star. Aldebaran is the eye of the bull. And the bull, you know, we think of the bull as being a peaceful, happy, but remember, make some major charging when you get it angry. And this is what this is going to be about, because exactly opposite the fixed star Aldebaran sits this star in Scorpio, Antares, which is the star of war. So let me just say, the stationing of Mars at that point around March 12th is not going to be so peaceful either. Everything's being stirred up with Mars being in Taurus. There are some fixed stars in this portion with the Pleiades that deal with the weeping sisters in the myth where they were falsely accused of something they didn't do. They were accused of betraying or their husbands and having, you know, adultery. That's how the whole myth goes. And so they were falsely accused. And this is why they were weeping. There's a sadness going on with this. Deep sadness with Mars trekking through this portion of the zodiac. But one to be very, very careful of is going to be around August 14th through the 16th, because that will be where Mars will cross over the most demonic worst star of the heavens, Algol. Algol is supposedly the most deadly, and it deals with a lot of problems. People that have this star really strong in their chart struggle so much, many with addictions, with problems, and it actually deals with decapitation. And you know, I have found that people that had this star strong in their chart were actually decapitated. And whether through an accident, Jane Mansfield, or many other people, which I won't go into. But really what it symbolizes is losing one's head. And what is that all about? Emotional turmoil of people losing their temper, their control, their head. People will be acting so irrationally around the time that Mars is crossing over this fixed star Agal around August 14th through the 16th. Now, another thing about this Mars, while it is transiting through this sign, it's going back and forth. Remember, when a planet is retrograde, it's bringing forth something that was never complete. And this has a huge message for us, because Mars definitely is the planet that rules anger, hostility, fighting, sports, everything to do with muscle strength and courage. But it is the planet of war, and it can deal with destruction, and many times things need to be destroyed to start over. Sometimes you just can't fix something. It's like you got a dilapidated house that you keep trying to renovate and put money in. It becomes a money pit. And what you don't realize is it's really time to destroy it and start over and have a brand new build. And that's kind of what Mars is trying to teach us. It's trying to go back, and it's bringing up the things that created so much anger and hostility and war in the past. What we can do to destroy that and bring forth a new world. So much is happening, so much is being destroyed, but what comes out of this is a transformational change of something beautiful. So when Mars enters into Taurus, this will be August 10th, it will be in the nakshatra Kritika. And Kritika is a sharp and cutting nakshatra. It symbols actually the razor or the knife. And it will be, actually Mars will enter into Kritika on August 5th, but that portion before the 10th of August, it will still be in Aries, which is pretty darn sharp, Mars in Aries and Kritika. But Kritika flanks across the sign of Taurus, partially in Aries and partially in Taurus. So once it goes into Taurus on the 10th, it'll still be in Kritika. And what's Kritika all about? Getting to the core and the bottom of things and telling it like it is. Kritika doesn't make any bones about things, and it cuts to the chase. It says, look, I'm not beating around the bush anymore. Let's get everything done and get to the core of the problem. That's what you'll be finding. And Mars will be in Kritika all the way till August 27th. But by the time of August 27th, Mars will enter into Rohini. And Rohini is where there are these stars that deal with betrayal, also deal with so much to deal with sadness and weeping. So be prepared for that. Now Mars will be in Rohini from August 27th till September 23rd. And September 23rd, it will go into Mrigashira, which Mrigashira is a nakshatra that flanks between Taurus and Gemini. So it will be in Mrigashira all the way till, gosh, it's going to be there for a long time, till about December 4th. So Mars will be in Mrigashira from September 23rd till December 4th. And Mrigashira is a very difficult one. I'll tell you why. Mrigashira, it deals with the hunt. It deals with hunting, and the antelope is the symbol for Mrigashira, but it is ruled by Mars. So Mars being in a nakshatra ruled by Mars makes Mars much more intense, and it goes for the search, and it is intense. I mean, this is going to be probably the most intense part of Mars transit in and out of Gemini and Taurus, because it's going to be in Mrigashira, and that's going to be harsh, warlike. A lot will happen, but people are searching, hunting down the truth. And you will find that people will be literally hunt down about certain things and probably their beliefs and philosophies. So just to give you the lowdown for the rest of Mars while it is in its cycle ahead, Mars will enter Rohini again December 4th, and it will be there till February 24th. And February 24th, it enters back into Mrigashira. And by March 12th, Mars will leave Taurus completely and go into Gemini, where it will remain as it leaves the whole retrograde process and continues on with transiting a sign per every 2 months. But you see this whole back and forth through this part of the zodiac where we have the hunt, where we have Rohini, where the Pleiades are, as well as where we have Aldebaran opposed Antares, will be this whole portion while Mars is transiting through the sign of Taurus. It is going to be so intense. It really does add a lot to all the other aspects that are going on at this time with the eclipses, with the stations. I mean, so much. But let me just say that this is going to be where we are going to discover, bring up things. The hunt, the chase will be worth it because what's going to be uncovered, the change is going to happen. Yes, there's going to be major destruction, but from that comes a healing. And that's what this Mars retrograde is bringing out, all the issues around anger and frustration and rage and war that have been percolating this whole year. Yes, there's been war in the Ukraine. More is to come with that because of where Mars is going to be. And not only that, I happen to notice around September when the end of September when Saturn and Uranus will have that square towards the end of September. That war is going to really come to a crescendo, and Zelensky will be in a bad place, I notice from his chart. But this is all involving this Mars cycle too, that's causing war, destruction. And finally, once it's all purged and done, we can move on in 2023 to a much better world and place. So get ready for this Mars cycle. It has a lot to teach us, and it's going to do a lot. And we have all got to come from a place where we are even keel, even-minded. Don't let the anger, the frustration, the rage, the war infuriate us anymore, because that's all we can do to better help the planet. To be the ones that bring the peace and the hope and the love to help heal this planet from all its issues and problems, because it really just takes awareness and a higher consciousness to realize it's all an illusion of all of the war and the angers and fears that have been just changing this world over the course of the past 2 years. It will change. This is going to bring things to a head. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, sign up for my free newsletter. Go to my website, and don't forget to look for my magazine there, galacticcenter.org. And if you'd like to learn Vedic astrology, I have an amazing university, can teach you all that you want to learn to be able to be an astrologer yourself and join a community of amazing people around the world. Go to University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.